Okay, well today what we're going to talk about is uh, chapter 2-2, which is solving two-step equations. So we were talking about one step, so now we're going to move into two-step. Okay, the objective is to solve two-step equations, and again still in one variable. Again, same standard A1.2.5. Okay, essential to your understanding, to solve, for example, 5x plus 3 equals 23, you must use the inverse operations in reverse of the order of operations. Okay, so operations was PEMDAS. We have to do that in reverse. So the following would be SADMEP, as some people might say, which is just reversing the order. We have to kind of revert to doing things backwards. So as we look in the above problem, 5x plus 3 equals 23, we must subtract. Okay, so we must first subtract the 3, subtract first the 3, and then to both sides, okay, to both sides, always to both sides. There you go. Then we want to go through and divide the second number, which was the 5, okay, to both sides. So that would be the procedure. Now I know before it was always multiplication and division before addition and subtraction, and now things work backwards. We actually do add and subtract before we do multiply and divide, and that all again depends on circumstances of grouping symbols. Okay, so we look at problem number 1 here. There's some rules off to the left in your notes that you need to make sure you jot down, so listen carefully as I go over this. You have 2x plus 3 equals 13, and again I'm going to put up that line just so we make sure everything we do to one side we do to the other. Okay, and first, since there is multiplication and addition, there's 2 times x and then there's that plus 3, we have to subtract the inverse. We have to subtract the 3 first. Okay, we need to isolate the variable first, even with the 2 with it. Okay, so subtract 3 to both sides, and we get 2x, oh, messed up on my 2, there you go, 2x is equal to 10. Now we can go through and divide by 2. So now we're going to divide by 2. That gives us 1x equals 5. Okay, x equals 5. Okay, so then we're going to simplify, which we did, and always check your work. Okay, so as we go to check, always back to the printed, so there's 2 times 5 plus 3 should come out to be 13. We get 10 plus 3, which is 13 equals 13. Yep, that checks out. Okay, so problem number 2, you are making a bulletin board to advertise community service opportunities in your town. You plan to use half a sheet of construction paper for each ad. You need 5 sheets of construction paper for a title banner, so you just need 5 to make one title banner. Okay, you have 18 sheets of construction paper, so how many would you have sheets of paper left over would you have in order to make some more ads? So how many ads total could we make? So as we go to do this, the first thing we need to do is define a variable. So what we're going to say is A is the number of ads. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything real complex. It's just something short, sweet that lets everybody know what you're doing. Okay, and then the next thing is that we're going to set up an equation. What's the best thing we know? Well, what we know is that for each ad, we're going to have to use a half a sheet of paper. So here's a half sheet of paper for every ad I have. Okay, if I use 1, I need a half sheet of paper. 2, I need a whole sheet of paper. Okay, but I do know that I'm going to put this up in the school somewhere to advertise. It's going to take me 5 sheets just to put the title. So there's the 5 for the title. Okay, that has to equal 18 because that's all I have. Okay, so there's my equation. So now we're just going to go through and solve. So again, for your benefit, we draw that line and I start going through. First I have to subtract 5 because addition subtraction first there. Okay, well that's going to leave me with a half of an A equal to 13. Now to counteract the 1/2, I gotta multiply by 2. 2 times a half makes a whole. So there's going to be 2's are going to cancel, leaving me with a 13 times 2, 26. And again, go ahead and check that work, and I'll see what you did. Okay, I want to see that check though on your notes. Okay, so we get to problem number 3. Problem number 3, very similar to the rest of them. Again, we'll go ahead right away. I'm just going to go ahead and draw this line. Okay, this one does take a little bit of a turn because we have this grouping symbol here, that fraction bar. We actually have to do this 3 first. We got to get rid of that first. Okay, so that does change things up a little bit. Since there's that fraction bar, we're going to go ahead and say let's multiply both sides by 3. Okay, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, so that gives us, again, the 3's are going to cancel. That leaves me with x minus 7. Okay, negative 12 times 3 makes a negative 36. Now I'm back to that one-step equation. So all I'm going to do is opposite of subtraction is add 7. I'm going to add 7. Okay, be careful with your addition here. I get x equals negative 36 plus 7 gives me a negative 29. Common mistake because it's a negative 36 and 7. Okay, so think of 36 minus 7, keep the negative sign. Once you get done with that, check your work. Okay, again, go ahead and do the check. Pause the video and do that. Okay, well, let's move on to problem number 4. Problem number 4 brings up another circumstance. So there's a lot of different problems in mathematics, so we have to kind of look at different variations. Okay, so again, as I go here, I have x divided by 3. So this term is already by itself and then minus the 5. So in this case, because it's not the 5 over the 3 as well, we can go ahead and get rid of this 5. Just take it to the other side. Okay, so subtraction of 5, we now add. That gives me the x over 3, the 5's cancel, equals 4 and 5 make 9. Okay, now I have this variable here. I need to get rid of that 3. So again, I'm going to multiply. Okay, anytime you have it on the denominator like that, you need to multiply. 3's cancel, giving me x equals 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, and again, check your work on that. Okay, and then here's some practice problems. I want you to go ahead and copy these down and do those at the bottom, and I'm going to check those first thing when you get into class. Okay, again, if you need more help, go to these places here that I provided you, and I'll try to help you out the best I can.